Hey guys, Nary here from Drinkweed Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Heart of Amethyst. So let's go ahead and pick it up right back where we left off, guys. Please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes. Let me entertain you, and let's jump right in. Woo, that was a mouthful. Alarm chain, you're up, and let's go. Alright. Alrighty, here we go. Yeah, the time of Andreas the Savior, right? Ikalis says nothing to that, so I figured that I should ask something else. Was it really that big? Imagine the blue spot combined with the red one. Even some more territory to the east. Whoa, they were huge! Yes, indeed they were, but such a big kingdom was doomed to perish. They ended up falling under the weight of their own ambitions. He then closes his eyes, caressing the pages of the book he's holding. I wonder what's going on through his head now. Anyways, please carry on. Oh, okay, yeah. The last one is the feline island, Thanea. Thanea lights up green right at the far east side. Okay, good. But there are two more territories that I wish to discuss. These aren't named as kingdoms and don't follow any specific ruler. Still, that doesn't mean people don't live there. He snaps his fingers and then two more colors light up on the map. The yellow one you see to the far east are the Wastelands, which are inhabited by the many barbaric tribes of Arthur. Arthur? The first barbarian that proclaimed his people didn't need any sort of help from the kingdoms, and separating himself from the rest of the continent. Politically speaking, of course. Why would he do that? Ikalis places a hand on his chin, probably trying to remember the many historical facts he's got stuck on that head of his. If I'm not mistaken, when the war was at its highest peak, the birds hired barbarians as a last attempt to counterattack the Canaanians that were gaining a lot of strength by that time. But the birds betrayed the barbarians as a consequence, and as a consequence of that, Arthur's lover got murdered. Gee, that's quite tragic. Indeed, our history has countless stories like this one. The continent of conflict. That's right. That rings a bell, as I remember reading that phrase in one of the world's encyclopedias that the old man owned. Ikalis the 12, right? A sad smile crosses his face as he nods, but aside from that he continues with his explanation. So, Arthur's story inspired the rest of the Wasteland tribes to stay neutral, and after many years of conflict, Andreas came and stopped the war against the birds and the felines. The felines too? Yes, they were on the birds' side, aiding them with their many warships. Oh, that's new to me. I had noted the felines were also involved. Most people don't, as they covered their tracks as best they could. They wanted to pretend and be the victims, casted away to Thanea by the birds. Yet those hypocrites helped the same nation that once did them harm. Oh, I have another question then. If Andreas stopped the war by the same time Arthur exiled the tribes, that means they lived by the same age? Indeed, some rumors say that Arthur was a good friend of King Andreas, but that's just that, a rumor. I nod, happy to see that I'm picking up on things. Having a class like this is far more comfortable than reading those damn encyclopedias. Besides, Ikalis is a good teacher. And what about these islands? I always thought they belonged to the Canine Empire. But they are marked with a different color. I point towards the purple-marked territory, which is all the way to the furthest south. Those are the Dakota Islands. No one controls that territory, and only pirates go through those waters, which means that those islands are no man's territory, used by the pirates to do their shady business. As a matter of fact, it is highly likely that the bomb your group set up yesterday was delivered by pirates all the way from Thanea. My blood runs a little cold, as I can't help but feel bad about my actions yesterday. I really hope no one got injured. Yeah, we screwed up pretty badly, sorry. I'm not here to be your judge, just your teacher. Whatever you did in the past, it's not my problem. An awkward silence fills the room for a while, so I try to think of a question to break it. And what about this place that has no color in the middle? That is Death Space, also known as the Skull's Valley. For many years, the Canine Kingdom has tried to take it, but the constant attack from the barbarians has made that impossible. So it's a war zone. In fewer words, yes. Neither the barbarians nor the king owns that territory, and a constant battle has been dealt in there for 80 years. None of the two bands is giving away that strategic victory, meaning that none can use it. What makes it so special? The placement of the rivers. Having a fortress in between the two rivers would allow the kingdom to have control over the barbarians, and at the same time it would make the traffic of different products easier. The barbarians know this, that's why they don't allow it. I see. Silence fills the room again, but this time Ikalis himself is the one who breaks it. Any other questions you might have? No, not for now at least. Alright then, let's proceed. He moves his fingers around, and suddenly some more lines are drawn into the map, dividing the three kingdoms in many different territories. Alright then, this is the political division of the three kingdoms. As you can see, each one of them are divided by many areas. The ones from the Bird Kingdom are named states, and each is ruled by a selected member of their court, or senators. The felines, on the other hand, are divided in provinces, each under the name of their shogun, or high ruler. In other words, their version of the king, but unlike us, they have 3 different shoguns instead of 1. And lastly, the Canine Empire, ruled by the king and subdivided on 3 viceroyal and 5 viceroyalties. Letters suddenly appear on the map. I recognize all these names, and I've been to all these places. The king has total control over 5 out of 6 territories, a church's territory being the only one not controlled by him. Each territory is governed by a different viceroy, who belongs to one of the 5 biggest ruling families of the kingdom, not considering the king's family, of course. The king's family being the most powerful of them? Yes, exactly. The king is a direct descendant of the savior Andreas himself. That's why he rules over the 5 other with ease. I nod as I listen to his words. There are indeed many details that I did not know, so I'm glad he's giving me this run-over. What about the birds? What's the name of their states? We won't enter the names of the birds, mainly because there's too many and they're always changing. So there's no real use in learning them. So for now, just stick with the names of the canines. And talking about that, as you can see, the name of the biggest territory goes after the name of the royal city. Yagnir, the fallen mother of Andreas. A little white spot on the left side of the map lights up. And Laguna Castle would be... Yeah, very good, the one right across the big lake. Carrying on with the names, north of Yagnir we have the Holy Congregation of the Balanced Church, which is named Columnia. All this territory belongs to the church? Yeah, the church's power is quite large. That's why the current king must try his best to keep them happy. He sighs, looking defeated after saying that. The church must be a bitter topic for him. I can't help but wonder if something happened. Oh, by the way, I've been wondering, what are you to the king? Whatever do you mean? Like, are you his long-lost cousin, or just his friend? He seems a little taken aback by my question, remaining silent for a while before answering it. I'm just his retainer, such as you. But before you ask, no, that's not all I do for a living, as I must perform my duties as Grand Master of the library as well. Wait, you are the Grand Master? I shout louder than I intended, clearly annoying him in the process. Sorry, it's just, I thought that the Grand Master would be an old-looking man with a beard. Most of them were, but I had to take the spot when I was 19 years old. Whoa, that's so young. How old are you? 23. Wow, you're not much older than me. It's quite impressive. You're awesome. As I look up, I can notice some blush showing on his cheeks. This guy gets flustered really easy. Kinda cute. And here I thought we had something in common, being the only fox and all. His face turns angry in a flash, showing me his discontent with my comment. I'm a wolf. Pardon? I'm a wolf, Eli. A Kryn wolf. Not the first idiot that doesn't know the difference. He whispers that last part again. I'm not sure if he really thinks I don't hear him or he just does it on purpose. Besides, my species has nothing to do with what I do. I've earned this spot on my own merit. What's his problem? I didn't even mean it like that. I just assumed he was a fox. Still, it looks like a soft spot for him, so I better drop it. I'm sorry, I had no idea. It doesn't matter. Let's continue. The wolf regains his usual endeavor, emotionless and calmed. It seems like the recess is over. Back to the map! Or not. It feels like an eternity, but he finally finishes explaining the other territories to me. There's way too many dates and facts for me to remember. It feels as if I'm reading the encyclopedia, but this one has a voice. The bad side, my head hurts. The good side, I learned a lot from this class. It's almost time for lunch. We should stop for today. He finally says, placing the book back on the desk. I can't help but sigh, feeling relieved, as my brain was already on the verge of collapse. You survived. I'm impressed. Yeah, and very funny, Mr. Smarty Pants. Jokes aside, you should review all I taught you when you have the time, or else you'll forget. With that said, I'm hungry, so I'll see you later. The wolf stands up and walks to the entrance, ready to leave the room. At first, I have nothing to tell him, so I'm about to let him leave, but then I remember. Oh, wait, Ikalis, I have something I want to ask you. Yeah? He says with a tired voice as he turns around. The wolf clearly doesn't want to be here more than necessary. Can you explain to me how magic works? I can't take that out of my head, since you explained to me the whole magical ink thing. At first he seems reluctant to do it, but he suddenly sighs and shrugs his shoulders, uninterested as always. Alright, I see no harm in teaching you the basics. Come outside. Really? He nods, signaling me to follow him outside my room. I open the door for the both of us, allowing the wolf to take a few steps ahead of me. He does so, and then turns around, facing me. Why are we here? Well, I'll be demonstrating some, so I'd rather do it here, on a more open space. Ah, gotcha, safety first. He just nods, and I remain quiet, quiet, allowing the wolf to concentrate on whatever thing he's doing. Magician stuff, I guess. First things first. Do you want to know what mana is? Not really. You mentioned, but I don't really know what it is. I'm guessing it's some sort of energy? He nods, placing his hand on his chin as he thinks of something. Mana, also known as Krim, is the raw energy of the world. In simple words, is the life force of everything. Everyone has Krim inside of them, but most people would never notice it, as it's a natural thing, such as breathing or taking... Oh my god, Eli. Yeah, that's one way to put it. I chuckle a little as I find it funny to see his usually cold expression shift like that. And I've had the honor to see it quite a few times today. Anyways, second question. Have you ever wondered why people have different eye colors? That's thanks to the parents, right? Not really. There are many cases of children being born with eyes different from their mom or dad. So to put simply, when the goddesses gave us their gifts, they came in the form of raw mana. In other words, they created the mana and gave it to us. But as you know, there are 3 goddesses, which means that there are 3 different kinds of mana. The physical mana, given by Grimune, allows us to be strong and resistant. The soul mana, given by Yume, allows us to connect with others and have emotion. And the mind mana, given by Legere, is the one that allows us to understand the world around us. We all have the 3 types of Krims inside of us, but each person has a different type of mana proficiency, represented by the color of their eyes. He points to his eye, which is as blue as the sky. The sons and daughters of Yume have green eyes. They can connect with others and themselves more easily. That's what we call soul magic. That sort of magic allows them to control people's emotions and their state of mind. It sounds scary. He scoffs and rolls his eyes, not paying much attention to my comment. In the wrong hands, any type of magic can be deadly. Anyways, as I was saying, the soul magic can be performed by experienced green-eyed people. On the other hand, we have the red eyes, also known as the sons and daughters of Grimune. There's really nice music. This use of the Krim is the most simple of all, as they can control the flow of the mana, channeling it on their own bodies, which gives them impressive physical abilities. The most experienced ones can even channel the Krim on their weapons, making them more resistant and deadly. That would be Roderick. He nods and says nothing else to that. I wonder if Roderick is capable of carrying that huge sword thanks to his Krim, or if he's just that strong. Time passes, and for a while he stays quiet with his eyes closed. Whoa. Sorry about that, a right click. He seems to be concentrating on something, but I can't tell for sure. And maybe he forgot what he was going to say. As I'm about to approach him... Oh! He opens his eye and lifts up his head. It looked as if he was holding something, but there's nothing there. Lastly, the sons and daughters of Legere have blue eyes, such as myself. We understand the world better, allowing us to control it. We have the power of... Ooh. Elemental magic. All of a sudden the flame ignited on his palm. The air around him turns heavy, and I can't help but feel as if the whole world went dark all of a sudden, as my full attention is on the flame right now. I take a few steps back, as I'm reminded of the bad memories I have with fire. Do not worry. I'm very good at controlling the mana. You can even touch my flame. I assure it won't burn you. Are you crazy? I'm not touching that thing! I grab my hand, holding it close to me as if the Fae was already burning it. As if the flame. You can trust me. Come closer. Sure. I notice he came close to the flame. It feels warm, but not as a normal fire. This one is quite comforting. I won't hurt you, he says, as he probably notices my fear. Okay, I say, getting my hand close to the flame. It flickers, but it stays calm, not growing wider or not losing control. He really seems to know what he's doing. As close as I get to it, the flame doesn't burn me at all. I eventually cross my fingers with it, joining our hands together. He doesn't seem to mind, but I do really enjoy the sensation of the flame. But there's also the warmth of his hand. It's soft, nice, and very gentle. But I'm not sure if the flame has something to do with that, or that's just how Ikalis' hand is. Soon I end up focusing on Ikalis' eyes instead of the flame. They seem to be burning bright as he looks deep into my own eyes. Ikalis like that, huh? See? It's safe. He softly says, so I nod. At this point, the flame is something secondary, my full attention on the wolf. I wouldn't hurt you like that. Magic isn't meant to harm. At least that's my personal hypothesis. That's quite noble of you. Aww! After I said that, his cheeks begin to turn a little red. Seems like he finally noticed how close I am to him. Cutie! Snapping back to reality, the flame vanishes and he keeps on watching me, not moving an inch as if he actually turned to ice. He eventually takes my hand off his, taking a few steps away from me. Anyway, back to the mana. As I've said, most people don't even know it's there, as they believe that only certain gifted ones can control it. But that is not true at all. Everyone can control the Crim. It's just a matter of practice. It puts a smile on my face, as I think how cool it would be for me to magic myself. To magic myself. Magic me. Magic now. Me and magic needing a lot now. To make magic myself. God, I love It's Always Sunny. I'm as sick as a three-legged dog on the streets of India. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now. Alright, so how can I learn it? I also ask excitedly, but his face turns sour immediately, making me feel nervous. I'm not sure. But aren't you supposed to be, like, super good at magic? How come you don't know? He places his hand on his chin and sighs deeply. It's not that I can't teach you. It has to do something with your eyes. I instinctively touch my face as if there was something wrong with it. What does that mean? It has to do something with the color. There's never been anyone with purple eyes before. That's just unheard of. I spent last night trying to search for an explanation in many books, but I haven't found a thing. You're very unique, and I don't know why. I'll try teaching you elemental magic, but don't get your hopes up. For your sake. Even as he says that, I can't help but feel a little bad. Am I really that different? Mom had purple eyes too, after all. Maybe try asking Almond and Sir Roderick to teach you about the other Crim uses. Who knows? Hopefully your eyes are a mere defect of nature and it won't affect your magical abilities. You really think so? It's a possibility. He says that with a shrug, turning around towards the end of the hallway. I'm going to get lunch. You should do the same. See you tomorrow. As he begins to walk away from me, only stopping once before turning the corner. I try not to let Almond get the best of you. Good luck. And with that, he walks away, leaving me by my lonesome, with more questions than answers. Once I'm done eating, I return to my room to take a break. Oh, hello there. There I see Almond sitting by the desk, checking up my stuff. Alright, and he's shirtless for some reason. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can, it always helps. Till the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!